Well, I very much appreciate the welcome, Troy, and as you and I were saying earlier, when we talked about this project back in 2019, it was kind of a glint in our eye. And we weren't sure at the time whether we'd be able to do something this substantial. And at the time, there could have just been renovations that were undertaken, but this is a big deal, and we are really excited about it. I want to express my sincere thanks to the union tradesmen and women who have worked on this project. They really put their heart and soul into it, and you can see the quality of the work. I know that everybody will enjoy the quality of the work once these buildings are open. The designers from Perkins Eastman, the Veterans United constructors, including Alberici Construction, River City Construction, and HDR Architects, plus 80 subcontractors and suppliers, nearly half of which are minority owned. I want to say to all of you, thank you for bringing this to life. All of you have been among the largest and longest at working on projects like this, and of course you are here at the largest and longest existing veterans home in Illinois. I also want to express my special thanks to the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Illinois Capital Development Board for helping to fund and coordinate one of the largest construction projects in the entire state. And of course, thank you to the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs and our director, Terry Prince, and his staff for their perseverance in bringing this to fruition. Already the new Illinois Veterans Home here at Quincy is shaping up to be a work of art. Each of the campus's new single occupancy rooms truly feels like home, and the skilled nursing facility will deliver on a resident-centered model of care that our heroes truly deserve. Each time I've driven through the gates here in Quincy, I've immediately felt the sense of history that's woven throughout this facility, from the Deer Park to Lake Illinois, to the post office, the bank, the museum, and all the war memorials. Quincy is more than just a home. It's a community, and one that will prove a special place for veterans, not just now, but for many years to come now. I'm really honored to announce these renovations are on schedule. I just think everybody deserves an amazing round of applause for that. And that means that we'll be able to welcome residents to the domiciliary before the end of 2023 and the skilled care facility opening in 2024. With these renovations, our veterans and their families will be able to enjoy state-of-the-art facilities that support them in living their fullest life, exercising their right to excellent care in quality surroundings. We owe our veterans, frankly, our heroes, nothing less. And it's exactly what I sought to do when I dedicated nearly $300 million in state funding to this renovation in our Rebuild Illinois infrastructure plan. And because we worked with our federal delegation representing the state of Illinois and Washington, especially Senators Tammy Duckworth and Dick Durbin, to bring our veterans' homes into the 21st century, Illinois is going to receive an additional $200 million in federal funding to further enhance and improve our facilities across the state. We've added to our high-quality residences for veterans the first Illinois Veterans Home directly serving the Chicagoland area, and last year we welcomed its first residents. And soon we'll be able to welcome 290 more right here in Quincy. The Illinois Veterans Home here at Quincy has a special history, as many of you know, established in 1885 to support the soldiers who survived our nation's bloodiest conflict and one of the darkest moments in our history, the Civil War. Thanks to their leadership, sacrifice, courage, and faith, our nation found its way back together and moved forward. That depth of patriotism didn't leave the earth with them. It's lived on in every generation that has picked up the fight for democracy and for our country, including more than 590,000 vets who currently call Illinois home. So in all that we do, we must strive to live up to the example and legacy that our veterans have offered us, from the Army to the Air Force to the Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, and National Guard. It's my mission that Illinois will provide every possible support for our military men and women, their families, and our veterans, those who have made sacrifice upon sacrifice so that all of us can live free. To all the elected officials and community members here and listening today, as we look forward to the years ahead, I pledge my continued partnership in strengthening and enhancing our veteran services and facilities in every sector. And I look forward to working with you to ensure that there is no better home for the brave than the great state of Illinois. So thank you all again for coming today. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to the man at the helm of protecting and supporting our veterans community here in Illinois, serving our country for more than 30 years himself, our IDVA Director, Terry Prince. Terry?
Thank you, Governor, and congratulations to you as well, sir, on a second term. We're all really excited about that. I'm going to go off script and say I've had the distinct pleasure of serving with this administration and having two state-of-the-art veterans homes being constructed and or opened in the state of Illinois, as it was mentioned, Chicago and soon to be Quincy. So, sir, thank you for your dedication to that as well. I look forward to advancing the mission that the governor mentioned for veterans, their families, and survivors throughout with our team at IDVA and with our dedicated partners across the state. Since I joined IDVA in April of 2021, I've had the distinct privilege of working alongside Troy Culbertson and his amazing team here at Quincy. In fact, this was the first veterans home I visited, probably April 3rd of that same year. So the first and finest, as I would say. And so, Troy, thank you for what you're doing. Your attention and your team's attention to caring for the whole person, meeting the veterans' medical needs, while also providing the environment where they can bring joy to their life is evident in every decision that you're making. The Quincy community is vibrant with daily events and programs that involve not just the residents and staff of the Quincy home, but all of Quincy, which is closely connected to the home. Our campus is open to the community, and people come by to sit by the lake, enjoy the park, and they volunteer at events and programs designed for the residents. Quincy home residents are not part of the community, they are the community. And I'm grateful for Troy's leadership and the efforts of the entire team. Today's beam topping ceremony is historic. Our first and oldest veterans home being rebuilt to elevate this beautiful and historic campus and offer the veterans the state-of-the-art living and community they deserve. And as you saw in the model rooms, the experience is elevated with simple and amenities that elevate the veterans' day-to-day lives. Larger rooms and living spaces, closets and personal bathrooms, systems that respect their privacy, simple things that are transformative, such as buffet-style eating, access to therapeutic equipment in our physical therapy center, and resident amenities in our theaters, cafe, classroom, prayers, pub, and even a spa. Troy and I have been talking about the models and how they presented the opportunity to visualize what the rooms and apartments would look like and fine-tune them as needed. And it's meticulous and intentional and will result in the best product for our veterans. IDVA's mission is to ensure that veterans and their families thrive in Illinois. By building this new veterans home on this hallowed ground of Quincy, our treasured heroes will not just live in a brand new state-of-the-art facility on a historic campus, they will truly thrive in Illinois. This magnificent facility represents the state's commitment to veterans and their families. And again, we're grateful for the governor's support, the work of the Capital Development Board, and finally our incredible partners on the construction team for addressing the unique needs of the veterans and the home. So with that being said, please allow me to introduce someone I'm really proud to work alongside, an individual who's been in state government since 2021 and currently serves as the director of the Illinois Capital Development Board. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jim Underwood.
I think that was 2001.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. This is a great day. And on behalf of the Illinois Capital Development Board, I'm thrilled to be here today to mark the progress at Quincy Veterans Home. The signed steel beam is evidence of the commitment and the teamwork involved in bringing these new facilities to fruition for our state's veterans. Thank you to Governor Pritzker and the General Assembly for passing the Rebuild Illinois Capital Program and has provided nearly $300 million in critical funding for this project. I would like to thank DVA Director Terry Prince, Gwen Deal, and the DVA staff who have been instrumental in getting this project off the ground. We also want to recognize Troy Culbertson and the staff and residents at the Quincy Veterans Home for your continued support and partnership. The scope of work for the Quincy Veterans Home includes a campus rehabilitations to buildings, infrastructure, utilities, and landscaping. Construction began in the summer of 2021 with the demolition of existing buildings within the footprint of the new buildings coming to life you're seeing today. The long-term care facility is projected to house 210 skilled care beds with full amenities for its residents. Constructed with veteran families in mind, the new domiciliary will host 80 independent living units large enough to accommodate veteran spouses and children. We are grateful for our hardworking construction teams that continue to ensure the new long-term care facility and the domiciliary remain on schedule and are built with great care for its future residents. Veterans United Constructors has done a tremendous job. There are currently over 80 first-tier subcontractors and suppliers and over 150 tradesmen and women working at this project site. There are 5 major suppliers from the Quincy area alone, and the design builder has utilized or purchased materials from approximately 25 local vendors supporting the Quincy community beyond the QVH campus. CDB is proud to have nearly 40 minority women and veteran-owned businesses partnering with us on this project as well. Lastly, I'd like to give a special thanks to CDB Project Manager Chris McGibbon, who's with us here today, and Greg Swanson and James Cockrell, who are working tirelessly to ensure this project is successful through completion. Thank you, and we're going to bring the governor up for questions from the press now. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy to take any questions.
Governor Pritzker, Bob Goff with Muddy River News. When you first became, the facility first came on your radar, it was on the heels of the Legionnaire situation.
Right.
And this community thought this place was going to close. And I'm sure you had a lot of people telling you, just get it out of there, it's old. Talk about the processes that convinced you that, yes, this project is worthy.
Well, for me, there was never a question that this would close. From my perspective, this was always a question about how do we keep the veterans here safe. Was it going to be renovating buildings, changing out the water plant situation here, or just there were a lot of people saying, hey, just rip out the plumbing and redo that, and you'll have a much better, safer system. But truthfully, when I talk to experts about what the right thing to do, the most cost-effective thing, and that would keep our veterans safe, the best thing to do was upgrade the facilities here, because we have veterans who will be coming to live in our veterans' homes for many years to come. And we want this to be a place, this particular facility, Quincy, is a prize for the state of Illinois and for veterans in the state of Illinois. And so it made every sense in the world to me to make the investments that we made. We were passing a capital bill, so we knew we could, convince people that the dollars would be there, and most importantly, that those dollars would be put to really good use for building up. This is good for the economy of Quincy and Western Illinois. It's good for the veterans here. It's great for the state. I think it sends a message to veterans everywhere in the country that this is a state that cares for the men and women of our military. Thank you.
Governor, Mark Meyer, WGEM. You've mentioned $500 million, I believe, is a figure we're hearing in terms of funding. Can you guarantee that that's enough to complete the job right now? Why or why not?
I should probably ask our experts here, but I can tell you that we're on schedule and on budget. Obviously, there are challenges with inflation, but we're confident that this will be completed, and I can guarantee you that the dollars will be there to make sure, because this is, like I said, it's a high priority for me. We talked about it for a couple of years leading into the start of the construction, and there's just no chance that we're going to end up with something that's like we had in Chicago, where we had a partial facility. I don't know if you're aware, built that got stopped by the prior governor. It's a ridiculous thing to do when we had the opportunity to finish it, and get people moved in. So I can guarantee you that as long as I'm governor anyway, this project will get finished. Yes, sir.
Off-topic question. Adams County Sheriff, several downstate sheriffs, and a lot of the county boards have really come out pretty strong against the gun ban the gun law you just signed. What is your message to those people who've kind of said, look, we might turn a blind eye to this thing?
Well, the first thing I'd say is they took an oath of office to uphold the law. As law enforcement, that's their job, and I expect them to do that job. You can have all the resolutions and declarations that you want. The reality is that the laws that are on the books, you don't get to choose which ones people are going to follow. If you don't like it, go petition for a change in the legislation or in Springfield. But as it is, you don't get to decide I'm going to drive 150 miles an hour on the highway and there should be no consequences. And the same thing is true about carrying out the assault weapons ban and a ban on high-capacity magazines, and also switches that are changing regular guns into essentially machine guns or automatic weapons. So I think we did the right thing. It was a consensus. There even was a Republican vote for it, and an overwhelming support across the state of Illinois, including in downstate Illinois, for this kind of a ban. Remember, nobody's guns are getting taken away from them. There are plenty of other weapons that aren't covered at all by this ban, and this ban is really focused on the same kinds of weapons that were banned by the federal government for 10 years, and we saw a significant downdraft in the number of people who were shot and killed as a result of the passage of that assault weapons ban. We expect the same thing to happen here in Illinois.
Thank you, Governor. We can take one more if anyone has. Nope. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.